Hello everyone. We are live. Hello, welcome. Today, Wednesday, 11:30, just before lunch. So we're very happy that you're joining us here. For everyone who doesn't know who I am, I'm Christine. I'm the head of marketing for Upstream Festival. I'm super excited because this is my first live, at least, for Upstream Festival here on LinkedIn and YouTube as well. And I have with me Lars. Lars, do you quickly want to say hello and tell people who you are?
Hi, I'm Lars. That's a short version. Great to have you ask me all these questions, Christine. Together with a group of people, we founded the Upstream Festival. That's already 2020, so that's a while ago. Happy to share some thoughts here.
Yes, so this is exciting. Today we're going to talk about how this all came about, a bit of insights, a bit of funny stuff. If you guys are watching this live, feel free to ask questions in the comment section. We will pick them up if they're not too strange. And then if you do have questions while you watch the recording, you can always comment and we'll see that afterwards as well and obviously come back to you. So thank you, Lars, for taking the time today. So if Upstream Festival were a startup itself, because Upstream Festival, maybe we give a quick overview of what it is actually. So let's start with that question. Tell people who don't know, what is Upstream Festival? Who is it for?
Yeah, so Upstream Festival is designed for founders primarily and investors. We believe that founders fix the future. So if you look at the big challenges in the world, we strongly believe that founders of startups and scale-ups are the ones that can tackle the big challenges out there. And what we'd like to do is to support these founders with everything they need to thrive and to grow their impact. Whether that's getting talent, whether that's getting investors, whether that's getting international customers, all these things. And for that, in 2020, we founded Upstream, which is by now the premier community-led startup event in the Benelux that will be taking place in Rotterdam, the Netherlands.
Yes, and that is a 20.
I'm not sure if that was a good pitch. So I wouldn't win on the pitching stage of Upstream with this pitch, Christine. So maybe I need to refine it a little bit.
But that's okay. So it was a bit of a pitching style because it was just a short introduction. Everyone, you're seeing this on our page as well anyway, but of course you can still participate. We haven't sold out yet, but tickets go like hot cake. So make sure you check it out. So let's think about as well if Upstream, because Upstream has evolved a lot over those 5 years. So it's the 6th edition already. So 2020, obviously also the world went a bit mental in that time and it evolved really into something. It's not just a festival. It evolved into a movement, into, like you said, a community-led event that's happening in the south of Holland. So explain a bit more how that evolved over time. What happened? Where did it start? Where is it now?
Yeah, sure. I think it started with a group of, if I remember correctly, 7 people from the startup ecosystem who came together and said, there's so many startup events happening in the region all year round. And I think we stopped counting at 150 events. We said, wouldn't it be great to see if we can actually combine all these events into 1 week? Because we have incubators, accelerators, investors doing things. So what if we bring that all together? I think that idea was born in December 2019. And then I think by January 2020, we said, let's do this. Let's see if we can create a festival out of it. And then the goal really of that festival was to create a place where founders can meet each other and where founders can meet investors and potential customers. And we just said it was the Rotterdam way of thinking. We said, let's make it happen. First edition, like as you mentioned, was the COVID edition. We all remember. But we didn't know that back then. So we designed, I think over the summer, a hybrid approach. What if we have to kind of close down? And then in September 2020, we had the first edition, which we then recorded from a big airport hangar. So a studio for 5 days long. And we learned a lot in that edition. I think the one thing we learned is we want to have this event offline, like everybody wanted. So I think in the following years we've been able to do that. And I think how the festival has evolved, we've learned. We basically took learnings from other great startup events across the world that we enjoyed very much. So I think for us, Slush in Helsinki, for those who have been, has been a great example, because it's very much focused on founders and investors mainly. And then sure, there's also other attendees welcome, but the real core focus for us is on those founders and investors. I think we also searched for a bit of intimacy. You have these really large events, think Web Summit or those kind of events, and we thought they tend to get too big. How can we bring that back into a more close-knit community again? So I think taking those learnings in and then experimenting over time, I think we now reached the point where Upstream has attracted more than 12,500 attendees. So every year we do about 2,000 over a number of days, bringing them together. And I forgot to mention one important thing, and you alluded to that already. So we can talk about the stages, but I think the core component of Upstream is that half of it is really created still by the community. So the side events, they make all the difference. And again, hinting back to Slush, where I think many people like to go to dinners, to parties, to all these cool side events, and they make up about half of the Upstream experience.
Yes, and I think you said a very important thing there as well. How can you bring it to be not too overwhelming for people? Because I've been to events as well that are really energy draining. They're great events in general, organized speakers and everything, but afterwards you're just like, oof. So I think the difference as well is that this is an energizing event, and because you have also an array of side events to choose from, like you say, you can pick and choose what you really like, and then come to the main event basically on day one. And like we said, like we used to say, it's day zero for the side event and day one main program.
And I'm going to clean it up because everybody keeps asking questions. So day zero, I would say, look at Jeff Bezos' movie on day zero versus day one. Maybe that's some homework for people. Day zero is really about reconnecting and connecting with each other. So it's kind of the moment where you also don't have to pitch too much. You really want to connect with other founders or investors with other investors. It's kind of the groundwork that we get for the festival. And then indeed, day one is the main event where all the speakers and the stages and networking takes place.
Yeah, and I think it's a great way as well to go to some of these side events and then pick up where you left the conversation with someone at these side events at the main event. So basically, natural way of networking, let's say, which is not the networking, but getting to know people, meeting other people, going through some challenges together and things like that. That really, I think, connects people even before the main event is happening. And this is where the magic is happening. So I think everyone that's watching and has a ticket or doesn't have a ticket yet, you should get one, and make sure you also register for the side events, because you will meet a lot of people there that you meet at the main event. So coming to a main event where you already know people is amazing. It's even better than knowing anyone.
Yeah, and we like to use the term engineered serendipity. So the way that we actually also set up the tickets, you'll find a startup ticket, you'll find investor tickets, and you'll find attendee tickets. And we've also scheduled the program in such a way that you will meet relevant people. And then I think, like your point, it makes a lot of sense if you first go to the side events and then, enjoy the structured serendipity on the main event.
Yes, exactly. And we had also, I don't know if you saw, we had Lindley Lewis here that wrote, hello, thank you for joining us live as well, everyone else as well, of course. But he has been apparently also to the events before, so that's great. Hopefully we see you at this year's event as well. Thank you for joining us live.
Thanks,
okay, so we have to decide on 3 words. You already put some in there, so you might pick them up again in the same ones. But if you have to pick just 3 words to describe Upstream Festival, which ones would they be?
I'd have to say growth, because that's what we're here for. I have to say impact, because we focus on really founders and investors that try to make a positive impact. And then I think I would say connecting, but I'll use serendipity. So growth, impact, serendipity. I think those 3 words best summarize what the Upstream Festival experience is.
Wonderful. Very good positive words, I would say.
Of course.
And has there been in the past editions like an unexpected favorite moment for you? Did anything happen out of the unexpected and you was like, oh, wow, we didn't plan that, but that's cool.
Yeah, I think these things happen all the time. And a funny note, every year I say I'll never do this again, because hosting a festival sounds nice, but obviously in the back end, it's always like you're organizing a birthday party. You hope everything is right. But that aside, now I think what I'm really proud of, and what we part of it, we plan diversity. We're really proud that we have more than 50% of our speakers being female, which is hard work, but we really always go our way. And shout out to Leonie, who's been our speaker manager, to get the coolest speakers out there and really show some female power on stage. But I think what really positively surprised me, I think that was last year, was in general the diversity that we see, or that we saw. And we never realized it because that's something we didn't plan for. But I think when you take a look at the place where this is, where Upstream is taking place, so it's the Rotterdam region, which is a very cross-cultural region in the Netherlands. We really see a lot of diversity taking place, and I think that was for me the positive surprise, that you see, both gender, but also cultural diversity, cognitive diversity, really stepping into this space. And to me, that was pointed out last year by two independent people separately from each other. It's like, wow, it's so great to have an experience where it's not just your average boy on white sneakers, but actually a really inclusive event. And I'm really proud and happily surprised by that.
Lovely, lovely. Yeah, I'm looking forward to meeting everyone at the event as well. So is there anything specific that's happening at the event that you can talk about, that you're most excited about? Personally.
It's like choosing between your children. So I think that is really hard to choose. So there's, I think for everybody that's different, and then that's the great part of it. But what I'm really happy with is that we, for the second time this year, have the annual startup competition taking place. I think last year was the first edition, and we've seen so many great startups pitch to the stage, and signups are actually taking place now. So you have to sign up before the 1st of April, and you could make your way to the final stage during Upstream. I think that is a tremendous experience. And the other thing I'm really looking forward to, two things. One is, there's some really awesome dinners happening. Now you do need to get your foot in the door for those dinners. So I would say go check it out. And there's always an after party. So also for that, I would say figure out where it is and get the key to the secret after party. You'll be fine. And for the rest, go to the website and figure out. There's so many awesome speakers, so many great investors joining, and awesome stages.
Yeah, perfect. So following up on that, what is if you choose one, you can also go into two if you like, but what one specific advice would you give founders, the ones that want to attend the Upstream Festival? Is there something specific they should prepare for, or any advice you would give founders, and then maybe even any advice you would give investors? Because I think also for them, it's really important. Okay, how do I be best prepared most out of the year?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think in general, be prepared, but also stay open. So be prepared. I think we've seen quite a few success stories of, I'll give you 3 examples. We had a founder who met another founder at a dinner, who last year acquired that company. So this is kind of the opportunity to meet someone who actually will buy your company. We've had a founder meet his investor co-founder 2 years ago. We had somebody joining some roundtable meeting customers. So there's many opportunities to actually really leverage what you need from the festival, but it needs preparation. So it really helps if you know what you're looking for, because then 2 ways. One, you can articulate it better. So I'm looking for an investor for my Series A round, or I'm looking for a co-founder in this and this specifics. And then the second part is, don't wait for the last moment, because we have this platform called Swapcard. It will open about 3 weeks before the festival takes place. And there you can actually access all the other attendees. You can already see who you want to connect with, build your profile, and do your homework. And I think what I've seen for founders who really do that preparation well, so starting the conversation already before the event, signing up for the right side events, I think those are the ones that usually benefit the most. So that will be for the founders. I think for the investors, the same goes, right? So figure out who you want to meet. But for investors, I'd like to have one specific extra ask, and that is, we all know that you're very busy, and that founders do not always meet your individual criteria. And for the investors, I would say use your network to help those founders move forward. So even if you cannot help a founder yourself because maybe the stage doesn't fit or the technology doesn't fit your profile, then please pay it forward and introduce them to somebody else in your network. I think that's really what drives this ecosystem, and also what is the pay it forward part of what we do.
Yes, and I love two things that you mentioned there. One is also, if we go to the last point that you just made, it's not always just the person you're meeting and talking to. It's also the people that they know, which is the secret, let's say, to successful building your network, building your support, finding the right people. It's not just about finding something, but also giving value to things. So just make sure you don't just rock up and try to wing it. Like Lars said, it's really about preparation, articulating it well, so that people actually know who they can refer you to, or they might say, oh, I know someone like that, because I have seen it so many times at events where I went and people, the typical question, what do you do? Why are you here? What are you looking for? Whatever you want to ask them, in what kind of way. And then they start talking for like 15 minutes and I'm like, okay, I didn't get what you were saying. So we're not saying you need to have your elevator pitch ready, but it is kind of an elevator pitch, but in a conversational kind of style. And you never know. Just really say things. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask for what you're looking for, because also I know sometimes people are afraid of that. Oh, then it looks like they haven't figured it all out. No one has figured everything out. Okay, so don't be afraid to ask, and tell exactly that person what you're looking for, because even if you think, oh, that person is not the right person, but it is just an interesting topic. And that way also ask people what they're looking for, because also you all of a sudden become a connector. And this is the wonderful thing. People start understanding each other, meeting each other, understanding what people are looking for. And then how this community is created and we can support all each other.
Yeah, no, this is a good point. And there's one event, shout outs to Alexander Broekman, who founded Super Connectors, one of the major side events of Upstream. And Super Connectors is all about, helping people to be connected. And what I took away from that format is they call it a critical ask. So what is the one thing that you can describe? Could be a sentence. What is it, the one thing you were looking for that could really elevate your company to go to the next place? And be specific. So don't say, I'm looking for a CTO, but be specific. Say, I'm looking for a CTO who has experience in building B2B platforms in a scale-up environment with an XYZ. Or I'm not just looking for an investor, I am looking for a corporate venture arm that is interested in building materials. So be super specific, and then people can actually help you find that connection.
Yeah, and sometimes I think people have difficulties defining that, being specific. So what can help is to start with what you don't want, and then it leads to automatically what you want, not in the conversation probably, but just to be prepared. So you can, if you're really like, oh, okay, I need to be specific, but what do I actually want? Or you can also, if you're talking to the right person there, you can ask, oh, what would be your take on that? Or have you been in a situation, or do you know anyone who has been in my situation who could give me some advice? So we're all there to support each other. And this is why this is such a great community, and not just in Upstream, but I can feel that in South Holland already, not having arrived too long ago in the Netherlands. So I'm very excited about this. Okay, any final thoughts before we wrap up this this live and talk about where people can get the ticket?
No, come check it out. I think I've been to many, so I am biased here, but I've been to many startup events, and there's great events happening. But I really suggest, if you're serious about making an impact, if you are serious about growing your business, and if you want to meet people that can help you move forward, I'd say come join us 21st and 22nd of May in Rotterdam. And you already mentioned this, Christine. Although we started in the Rotterdam region, we've seen over the years that it's grown, attracting people from abroad, from other countries, from all over the Netherlands. So it is very much become a Dutch event that is also connected to the other ecosystems within the Netherlands, but also the Berlin ecosystem, the London ecosystem, and the Nordics ecosystem. So inviting all those founders and investors to join us.
Yes, and as head of marketing, I'm gonna let you know that it's like the last chance to get your early bird ticket. Okay, we had super early bird tickets. If you missed out, sorry, but now is the chance to still grab the early bird tickets because you just have a bit more than a week left. So to grab that, I think the tickets are very affordable anyway. However, it's always good to save some money and spend it maybe on some other things and drinks at the event. Who knows? But make sure you grab your early bird tickets because they're not too much longer available. You see down there the ticker, upstreamfestival.com. That's where you can go. You can check out the speakers. There's already a lot of speakers online. You can check out the amazing side events that we mentioned that have already been confirmed. And there's constantly added new speakers and side events as well. So it's not just what you see now. And also the main program will be announced soon. So it's going to be amazing. Make sure you're part of that. Make sure you become part of the community if you haven't been already. And Lars, thank you so much for sharing how this all came about and your experience with it.
My pleasure, Christine. Yeah, I don't know about you, but I'm ready. Let's go.
Ready, let's go. And let's go, everyone. Join us and hopefully see you there. And if you have any questions afterwards, feel free to put them in the comments. See you soon. Bye.